Hello and good evening. Yes, today is Monday, January 18th, 2016. You're probably wondering who is this? This is Jonathan, your PLAR history and geography teacher. Where is Andrea tonight? Well, we have decided to switch time slot. Yes, so tonight, right now, is going to be PLAR history and geography. That is right. Right now, I'll say it again. It is going to be PLAR history and geography. Andrea's PLAR English will be tomorrow at my time slot at 8 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Okay. The reason why we made the switch is because tomorrow I will be traveling to Fort Severn for my community visit. So all my students, all out there in Fort Severn, please come out to your learning center. I'd love to say hi. And if you have any difficulties with your any assignments, any question, that is a perfect opportunity to do so. There'll be tons of food, lots of prizes, lots of good goodies. I'll be there for 2 nights, so tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and all day Wednesday as well. So again, all my students out there in Fort Severn, coming out to the Learning Center. So again, right now, it is PLAR, history, geography. Okay, I just want to point that out there so there's no confusion. Okay, so PLAR English, and just PLAR English, which should be right now, is tomorrow. Okay, class, tomorrow. So if you're looking for Andrea and for PLAR English, it'll be tomorrow during my time slot, 8 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Okay, again, this is just a one-time thing only. We're just making this one switch, again, because of my trip to Fort Severn tomorrow. The rest of the week, Wednesday and Thursday, will be exactly the same. Okay, hopefully there's no confusion. I posted on my Facebook status, so hopefully everyone got a chance to see that before tonight's class. Okay, again, if there's any confusion, just let me know. But right now, today, it's going to be PLAR history and geography. And tomorrow, during my time slot, will be PLAR English with Andrea. Okay? Any questions? Any confusion? Again, if you're in the wrong slot right now or looking for PLAR English, again, that's going to be tomorrow night. Okay? Any questions right now before we begin today's class? I just want to point out something very, very exciting. During our admin week, so not next week, but the following week, okay, the first week of February, during our admin week when there's no classes going on, as you notice, WASA is celebrating a 25th anniversary this year, this academic year. Okay, not just last year, not just this month, but this whole academic year. So since September to June, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. Very, very exciting time. We've been here for a long time. And as a result, the first week of February during our admin week, as you know, February 4th at 2 p.m. Central Time, the 25th Anniversary Committee is hosting our very first annual trivia game show. That's right, trivia game show. Where you have the chance to test your knowledge. We'll be asking questions about WASA, what we do here at WASA, the history of WASA, and other random pop culture, random questions that we will throw out there. Okay? So please, please, if you're interested, you should be, please send an email to Candice or to myself. I'll just forward to Candice because you need to register in order to participate. Okay? So do that right now. Send Candice an email and register to take part in the first ever WASA 25th anniversary trivia game show. Okay, this is your chance to test your knowledge. It's gonna be lots of fun and lots of prizes as well, and a chance for you to win. Okay? Yes. Okay. WASA trivia game show. Make sure you register right now. Again, you have any questions about that? Let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer any question. Okay? Any questions about our trivia game show? Again, that's not this week. It's not next week, but it's going to take place once this term 1B is over during our admin week. That is going to be on Thursday, February 4th at 2 p.m. Okay? Let's get back to today's class. So last week class, once again, we continue looking at lesson number 5, our very last assignment in terms of geography, in the geography half, in terms of PLAR history and geography. We're almost there, okay, class? We're almost there. This week, so today's class, Thursday's class, and then next week, and then we're done. Term 1B will be done. Okay, so hang in there. We're almost done. Keep working on those assignments. Okay, just keep working on those assignments. Work on them. Finish them. Send them to me so I can mark it. That way you will be eligible to write your tests. Okay. So today, class, we're gonna do a bit of review. We're gonna start off with, again, looking at their environment. And we're gonna finish off this slide. Okay, looking at the environment, looking at components of global warming. Then we'll finish off looking at questions on assignment 14. And if we have time near the end of today's class, I will perhaps start a couple slides for the next lesson. Don't want to rush anything because we do have time. So today's class, Thursday's class, and next week, there's 30 more lessons that we need to get through. So we do have some time so that we can move things around and play around with. Okay, so there's no need to rush, And again, at any point throughout my lesson, if you have any questions, just ask. Okay, so let's do a bit of review. Spend some time with that, and then we'll finish off with this lesson. So again, today's goal is that we're looking at the environment, like global warming, finish off this lesson, and we'll finish off assignment 14. Again, there's 2 more assignment after assignment 14. Again, there's 16 assignment, 16 all together. So again, we're very close. We're almost done this term. Okay, so we're looking at the environment. There are 4 components of the environment. Does anyone remember the 4 components of the environment without looking at my screen? Does anyone remember? Again, it's all in your textbook on page 57. Oh, if someone said atmosphere, you are correct. Yes, atmosphere is 1. Atmosphere is 1. Okay, the second is hydrosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. These are the 4 components of the environment. Again, atmosphere deals with the air on our environment. So we're dealing with air, the air that we breathe, air that the plants breathe, the air that the animal breathe, and the air around us. This is part of the environment. 2, the hydrosphere. Any source of water, lake, river, ocean, stream, a pond, anything that deals with water is known as the hydrosphere. Again, looking from our illustration, our planet Earth has tons and tons of water. More water than land, okay? I believe that 75% of our planet is water. Okay? 3, lithosphere. Now we're dealing with the Earth's crust, dealing with land formation, land region, lithosphere, okay? And 4, last one, the biosphere. Okay, so we're dealing with any living organism on our planet. Could be us, human, people, could be animals, could be plants. Anything that's living is considered a biosphere. Okay, last class when we were here together, I gave the example of how each of each of these components are so closely linked together that if something happens, an interaction in one of these components, it will affect one sphere to another. So for example, a bird, which is a biosphere, since it's an animal, it flies through the atmosphere, which is the air. Okay, then we have a soil or grass, with this consider the Earth's crust, which is the lithosphere, and water flows through the roots, also known as the hydrosphere. Okay, so there's lots of overlap. Again, if something happens in one sphere, it often affects something else. Okay, could be causes done by human, pollution, oil spill in the ocean, could be natural disaster, hurricane, earthquake, anything. All links to another. Which leads to our next slide. If you remember, how do people impact the atmosphere? How do people impact the atmosphere, which is the air that we breathe? If you remember, we're talking about global warming. Okay, this natural phenomenon that we hear pretty much every single day. It's on the news. People talk about it. Politicians debate about it. If it's happening, yes, it's happening. No, it's not happening. Okay, there's evidence that it is, evidence that not is. So there's lots of debate, but there's lots of facts out there that suggest it is happening. So how do people impact the atmosphere? Is one, we release tons of carbon dioxide, okay, such as our car emission, burning fossil fuel, okay. These gases get trapped in our atmosphere, the air, which causes the Earth temperature to increase or rises or go up. Okay, which leads to us knowing as global warming. Okay, this is something that we must stop. It is a significant problem that we deal with nowadays. So we need to reduce this problem. Okay, this is how we as people impact the atmosphere. Okay, due to tons of release of carbon dioxide, which increases the temperature on Earth to warm up, leading to global warming. Then class, we talked about this international agreement or protocol known as Kyoto, capital Kyoto protocol. Okay, this is also on in your textbook as well. Again, this is when numerous countries went to Japan. They had an international meeting where they started to discuss problems such as the likes of global warming. We know that it's a problem, so they got together, they had a meeting, and reached an agreement on how to fix this problem. So the Kyoto Protocol, its goal was to mandatory cuts on greenhouse gas emission. Okay, it reinforces regulations and rules on a particular country to commit to a cleaner air. So for example, I'll get the example of started in 1990, that country must reduce its greenhouse gases by the goal of 5% by the year of 2008 to 2012. That was the goal, where whoever agreed to Kyoto, such as Canada, must reduce our greenhouse emission by 5% off what it was in 1990 by 2008 or 2012, which is now over. Okay. What was the results? The results was most country cut their greenhouse gas emission by 3%. So we did not actually reach our goal of what was outlined in Kyoto, but it was a step forward in this movement. Some countries signed it, some countries didn't. For example, I have on my screen the United States, Australia did not sign or agree with Kyoto, which is a big problem because if a massive country with tons of people and population such as the United States, if they are not stepping up and signing or agreeing with Kyoto Protocol, it sets off this alarm bell as to why should other countries agree. If the United States, who is producing tons and tons of greenhouse gases, why should others? So it's kind of hard for other countries to join if the United States didn't join. That was the Kyoto Protocol. Then we looked at climate change or global warming in terms of how does climate affect us? How does climate affect us? Again, a few weeks back, we talked about what is weather, what is climate. We defined those terms. We should have an understanding of what those terms are now. So again, we're just expanding our knowledge and our understanding and linking our definition of weather and climate in terms of climate change and global warming. How does climate affect us? Well, the food that we eat. The food that we eat. So if it's warmer, which means that we should be able to grow more food, have longer growing seasons, and should have more food available in a sense. Okay? It also affects us in terms of if the weather is increasing, the types of clothes that we wear. Okay? So we should be able to wear, for example, shorts, t-shirts, flip-flops, sunglasses more often than before. Okay? Because global warming, where the temperature on Earth is increasing and staying warmer than before. So the clothing is not a factor. Types of shelter that we live and build. So again, if it's really cold, we should build a nice warm building or a house that's nicely insulated, that keeps us warm. We do not need air conditioning more often. Okay, just some examples of how climate affect us. Okay, food, clothing, shelter, have more opportunity to eat ice cream more often, for example. So human actions, oh, this is a big one right here. That's why I highlighted in purple. This is a big one. Human actions are causing climate to change more quickly than ever before. Human actions are causing climate to change more quickly than ever before. You may agree with it, you may disagree with it, but yes, there's data out there that suggests yes. Due to our actions, climate is changing more rapidly than ever before. Should we be concerned about this? Probably. Again, this is where we left off last class, where we talked about the pros and cons of climate change. You might ask yourself, so what? So what? Climate is changing. It is more warmer nowadays, which means great. Which means that we should be able to go to the beach more and do more outdoor activities, for example, enjoy the nice sun, have a nice suntan, walk around in my nice flip-flops, for example. Okay, this is some positive that you may think of. However, there are some negative consequences as well. So in this case, when we're looking at pros and cons, we're looking at the good and we're looking at the bad. Okay, or the positive or the negative side of climate change. Okay, let's start off with the good side. The good side. Okay, the good side. Then we'll look at the bad side, or not so bad, good side, I should say. So pros to climate change, What are some good things about climate change? Well, before we do this, can anyone suggest some ideas as to some positive about climate change? I already said one, we can eat more ice cream and go to the beach more. Can anyone think of any other example of positive outcomes as a result to the increase of temperature yearly, annually, due to climate change? Anything? No hands? No thoughts? No comments? That's okay. That's okay. I have a few on my slide. So, pros to climate change. Frozen regions, so cold areas such as Siberia, Arctic region, or Antarctica may experience milder climate and more plant growth than often before. So these areas that I have highlighted in green, let's make that bigger so everyone can see. Is that big enough, class? Let's make it even bigger. So I have two different illustrations. So we got the Arctic region, kind of like the North Pole, and then pretty much above Canada, Greenland. This area has no tree growth whatsoever because it's so far up north. Okay, this is known as the Arctic area or the Arctic Circle. So anything around that's highlighted in green. Highlighted in green. This is known as the Arctic region. Okay, this particular region may experience more milder temperature than before. So example, it could be minus 40 all the time in this area. Now it could be, for example, minus 30. Okay, so you may think that that's not a huge change, but that could be a good significant change. Okay. It won't let me erase it. That's okay. On the other illustration, I have Antarctica. Antarctica, which is pretty much the South Pole. Again, this continent has no plant growth at the moment, but in the future, if our temperature continues to increase, it may. Okay, so cold, frozen regions such as Siberia, which is pretty much like north of Russia, Antarctica, and the Arctic region may experience more plant growth and milder temperature. Okay, so in these areas where it's always cold, temperature are starting to increase slowly. Okay, other countries or areas such as here in Canada, such as here in HisGeo, we may experience again, like I said, a longer growing season. So we may be able to plant our garden for a longer extended period of time, which leads to more productivity and food growth, okay, which is a positive thing. Okay, these are just two examples that I noted on the positive side of climate change. Okay, if this trend continues where the temperature on Earth continues to increase. Okay. Now, class, let's move on to the negative side, the con. Can anyone give me an example of some negative about climate change? What are some negative, some not so good example of climate change? What are some not so good example of climate change? Oh, if you said, oh yes, what was that? If you said icebergs may be melting, you're correct. Yes, you're correct. I think I have that on my next slide. So, for example, higher sea level may increase, which leads to floods. Okay, so now we're talking about the not so good side, the negative side of climate change. So, higher sea level, So we have glaciers, snow, icebergs melting, which will increase the sea level or the ocean level, which will eventually erode away coastlines, which may lead to more floods, okay, which is a big no-no. Okay, we don't want floods to happen because if a flood happens, it will destroy our community, our homes. Not good, not good. Deserts, deserts. It's already hot there, it's already dry there, but a desert may get even drier or even hotter. Okay, again, that's a big no-no. We don't want that to happen. Okay, some area may lead to food storage. Okay, so much I talked about maybe some increase in food, but in some areas maybe some decrease in food. It's just too hot. Okay, there's not enough food, not enough water to go around, for example. Another negative side of climate change is there'll be more illnesses. People will get sick. Okay, again, there are bugs, especially when it's warm, mosquitoes, West Nile, for example, which leads to diseases and people getting sick and even people dying. Okay, so these are all negative side of climate change. Okay, we may even experience more extreme weather. Okay, hurricane, earthquake, storms, windstorms, comes out of nowhere, okay? We may even experience more extreme weather, thunderstorms, for example, okay? Again, heat wave, okay? We can link that with weather, okay? It's just too hot. We gotta stay hydrated now. We gotta find a place to cool down. It's just too hot. So heat wave warning. We have that tons of that in Southern Ontario. More pollution. Again, we know lots about pollution. We'll get more to pollution during our next lesson. But again, that's a big no-no. And you might think that yes, climate change may affect people, but it also affects plants and animals as well. How now plants and animals must adapt to this new climate. Some can, which is great, and some can't. Some can't. So they die off, and that species of that particular animal is now no more. Okay? For example, polar bears up north. I hear that Fort 7 has polar bears. Okay? Due to climate change, polar bears must adapt. If not, they must, or they could go extinct one day. Okay? Something to think about. Something to think about. Okay? So these are the pros and cons of climate change. Yes, there are some good things, and yes, there are way more bad things about climate change. Okay? Something to be aware of, something to take into account, something that we must move forward with this in terms of how we live our life in the future. Okay? Are there any questions right now, class? Any questions? Any questions? I believe there's only a few more slides in terms of this lesson. Okay? Any questions right now? Questions? So now we have talked about what is climate change, the goods and the bads of climate change, the pros and cons. Now let's talk about how to deal with climate change. How can we fix climate change? What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? I have listed two factors. Okay. One, mitigation. Mitigation. Okay. This is a term that we can use in order to help deal with climate change. Mitigation means take actions to reduce the problem. Okay, take actions to reduce the problem. So yes, on one side we have a problem, so we must take actions so that we can fix this problem. So yes, we all know global warming, climate change is a problem. Yes, it's a big no-no. We don't want it, but it's happening. So we must use mitigation, take action to reduce the problem. So for example, reduce greenhouse gases. That's one. That's one way we can fix this problem of climate change and global warming. Reduce greenhouse gases. Okay. So switch fossil fuel to something called solar power and wind power. Okay, so solar panels, okay, that use energy from the sun. So, for example, our calculator has this little solar chip, okay, or wind power, okay, wind power. So we use nature to turn wind turbines to generate energy into creating a more efficient way of energy, okay, instead of using fossil fuel, which will one day be gone. We can also drive efficient cars. So if you have those new high-tech hybrid cars that use half gas and half electricity, that's one way, which is great. Okay, or if you have a big truck, an old truck that takes up a lot of gasoline or diesel, okay, we don't want that. Okay, so drive more efficient cars, or even better, especially if you're in, for example, Thunder Bay, where it has public transportation, a bus system, okay, which is great. Okay, we're reducing greenhouse gases by taking the bus if that's available to you. Okay, biking. Okay, so there's no need to drive sometimes. Okay, why drive when if you have a bike? Just bike, because a bike does not release any greenhouse gases. Great exercise as well. Okay, or even better, walking. Yes, walking. Something I do pretty much every day, where I'll walk to work and walk to Wasa. Okay, so walking. Okay, so there's no need to drive sometimes into creating more greenhouse gases for our planet and for our atmosphere. So you can carpool, you can take the bus if that's available, you can ride your bike, hop on your scooter, rollerblade, jog, walk. Okay, tons of variety methods and alternatives as well. Okay, next I have turn off the lights, saving energy. So if you're in a room, in your house, in your community, and you're not in that room, turn off that light. Turn off that light. Or reduce light. Okay, we're saving energy for our planet as well. Plant more trees to absorb greenhouse gases. So trees, we have talked about trees a few weeks back. So trees, plants, okay, all good things because they absorb all the bad greenhouse gases. So again, it deals with, again, that whole idea we talked about of protection, conservation, biosphere reserve. We don't want to cut down, chop down trees, but we want to plant more trees. Okay. And our 3 R's: recycle, reduce, and reuse. Okay. We eliminate garbage that way, because again, garbage creates or releases greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So again, if you have a piece of paper, you can recycle it. Don't just crumble up in the and put it in the garbage. If you have a plastic bottle, and recycle. Glass bottle, Coke bottle, recyclable. Aluminum foil, recyclable. Plastic bag, recyclable. Okay, all these are not garbage. Okay, not garbage. Okay, so again, recycle, reduce, and reuse. Okay, these are all mitigation factors that we can use and do to help reduce climate change and greenhouse gases. Okay, mitigation. That's one. That's one example of how to deal with climate change. Questions? Questions? Okay, factor number two. Factor number two. I have something called adaptation. Adaptation. So again, we have this problem. Our problem is global warming and climate change. So we use something called adaptation, where we must adapt, change, or adjust to the new situation. We must accept, climate change and global warming is a reality. It is out there. It is happening today, right now, as we speak. As a result, we use adaptation, where we must accept, change, or adjust to the new situation. So now, in other words, we must live with climate change and global warming. How do we do that? You may ask, how we do this? So, for example, we can grow more crops in this new temperature. Okay, so we must use it to our advantage. So if it's warmer here in Silico, we may have more longer growing season. We must take that into account and take advantage of it and plant more crops and use that longer growing season. Okay, we know that climate change can lead to health problems. I talked about it. Okay, people might be getting sick now. Heat stroke, okay, especially all the elders. Okay, they can't handle the heat as well as the young adults do. So again, we must take that into account and must fix it. So one, expand healthcare. Here in Canada, we have free healthcare, which is fantastic. Okay, but we must expand healthcare, okay, to a wider range, make it more accessible to people who can't have access to it. Okay, this leads to treating health problems caused by, climate change, the weather, etc. Okay, so expanding healthcare so that everyone can have access to it. Building more parks or trees to cool off. Okay, so again, we accepted this problem of climate change. We know it's happening. So now we must now have a place to cool off. So it could be a center, could be parks, okay, an area where we can cool off. Okay, again, these are example of adaptation, change or adjust to new situation. Okay, so again, growing crops in new climate, expanding healthcare, and creating places to cool off. Okay. Again, these are just some notes that I have created. They're pretty much all in your textbook, but I just summarized it so that makes more sense. And that's more clear as well. Okay. Questions? Comments? Okay, so these are just some examples that we as people can do. However, the government and businesses can even get involved too. So everyone can get involved in this fights into this change of climate change. Okay, not just people, not just kids, not just my students, okay, not just your parents, but everyone. Okay, the government, companies, businesses, everyone can do a part in terms of reducing greenhouse gases and saving our planet. So one, government and businesses can get involved as well. They can enforce rules and regulations, okay, such as increased energy but efficient energy standards, okay. They can encourage the use of renewable energy, such as solar power and wind power, okay. And we must also protect and restore our forests. Again, forests are key. They absorb all the bad greenhouse gases. So again, we must not chop down all the trees and forests, but we must protect and plant more, restore them. Okay. Okay, again, government and business can get involved as well. Very, very key part as well. Okay. On my screen, I have a little picture. Okay. It says this picture makes me sad. So again, we once have this beautiful planet Earth where it's nice and bright and green, but if we don't do something to it, don't help protect our planet, okay, and we increase all these chaoses and problems that we have on our planet, such as cough cough, climate change and global warming and other factors as well, Our beautiful green planet may just be one day a memory. Okay, may just one day just be a memory. We may not have bright green planet Earth anymore. Okay, if we want a bright green planet Earth, again, we must take these steps and actions to reduce this problem. Again, everyone can play a part. Okay, it's key. All these small things, such as, again, turn off the lights. That will do a lot. Okay, walk into your learning center more frequently, more often, will also do a major part as well. Okay, so that's pretty much our lesson on the environment and global warming and climate change. Okay, so let's finish off looking at assignment 14 and all these questions. We looked at a few of them last class. Okay, it's not quite a big assignment. So again, hopefully everyone is still working on your assignments, regardless of which assignment you're on. Again, please continue to work on your assignment. Okay, don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Okay, do a bit here and there whenever you can. If you need help, remember I'm right here. A phone call, an email, a Facebook message away. Okay, I'm here to help. Okay, I'm here to help. Don't just give up. Okay, so I'm going to talk about assignment 14. You may be working on assignment 14, which is great. If you're not, that's okay. Okay, but still continue to work on whatever assignment you're working on. Okay, assignment 14, question number 1. Question number 1. Name and describe the 4 components of the environment. Okay, I talked about last class. I talked about in today's class. Name and describe the 4 components of the environment. Okay, there are 4. So give me all 4. What their names are and describe them. What they are. Okay, name them and describe them. Okay, pretty much a mark each. 4 marks. Again, class. Full complete sentences if you want to receive full marks. If you don't, you will lose marks. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. Question number 2. What does global warming mean? Okay, so you can say global warming means, and then tell me the answer. Okay, and why should we be concerned about its effect on the Earth? So why should we be concerned? Okay, so global warming is da da da. We should be concerned because of this, that, this, and that. Okay, got 2 parts to that. What is global warming and why? Okay, what are some problems of global warming? Okay, in other words, I'm looking at the cons. Okay, look at that slide. I have tons of example. Okay, tell me what global warming is and why should we be concerned? Okay, what's some negative consequences of it? Okay, again, 5 marks. So I'm asking for what global warming means and some examples of why should we be concerned. Now, just give me one example of why we should be concerned. Tell me a few. Okay, I have tons on my slides, so feel free to use those as well. Question number 3. Name the agreement that has been drafted by international community to address the global warming situation and what it is designed to accomplish. What is holding them back from enforcing it? Again, this deals with the article in your textbook on page 57. Okay, hint hint Kyoto Protocol, hint hint Protocol. Okay, so again, if you've been paying attention in class, this is what I'm talking about, and this is what I'm referring to. Okay, so again, please make sure you read the article in your textbook on page 57 as it asks a question on your assignment. Question number 4. What can we do as individuals to reduce greenhouse gases? Okay, what can we do? Okay, as people to reduce greenhouse gases. Okay? For example, walking. For example, turn off your lights. For example, driving less. These are some examples of how we can reduce the problem of global warming. Okay? 2 marks. 2 marks. Okay, class? And that right there, class, is assignment 14. Okay? Simple four questions. Okay? Nothing too difficult, nothing crazy, nothing I'm asking that's out of the blue. Okay, again, always, if you have been paying attention, if you have been listening, there shouldn't be any problems or any difficulties in terms of completing any of your assignments. Okay, any of your assignments. Are there any questions right now, class? Any questions in terms of today's class and last class? Okay, any questions right now? Okay, I don't think we'll have time to start our next lesson in terms of pollution and renewable and non-renewable sources. Okay, we'll save that until Thursday's class. Okay, and we'll look at questions on assignment 15 on Thursday class. Okay, next week, week 9, we'll look at one more lesson on latitude and longitude. We'll talk about that. And then we'll wrap things up by talking about the tests, the grand finale, the main event, the tests, and what you can expect when writing your test if you haven't already done so. Okay, so again, and we'll leave off that in terms of today's class, in terms of the environment, global warming, climate change for today. Again, Thursday's class. Okay, same time, normal time slot on Thursday. We'll start looking at pollution and different types of sources. And then next week, we'll look at longitude and latitude. And then we'll wrap things up by looking at and talking about the tests. Okay, I'll give some examples of what to expect in terms of tests. Okay, so let's back things up a bit. Let's go back to the first slide. Again, today's Monday, not Tuesday. Okay, so this time slot should be PLAR English. However, like I said, just want to emphasize this again before we call it a night. I have to switch and swap time slot with Andrea, PLAR English teacher. Okay, because tomorrow, okay, I just want to announce this again. Tomorrow, I'm traveling to Fort 7 for my community visit for this term. Okay, so again, all my students out there in Fort 7, please come to the Learn Center. Well, again, I'd love to say hi. I'd love to help out with any questions you have with your assignments, any difficulties, or if you're a brand new student, come out and apply if you're interested, okay, or hear about more about what we do here at WASA, okay. We will be having food. I'll be bringing pizza, fruits and veggie tray, chicken, yes, chicken, okay, so tons of food. Again, I'll be there tomorrow night, Wednesday night, okay. I'm back in my office Thursday afternoon, so we should be able, unless my flight is canceled, to have PLAR history and geography on Thursday night. Okay, so tomorrow night will not be PLAR history and geography, as I'm doing that lesson today. Again, tomorrow during my time slot will be Andrea, PLAR English. Okay, so all the students out there working on PLAR English, okay, that's tomorrow night, 8 to 9 p.m. Central Time. If that's Eastern Time, oh boy, that's super late. That's 9 to 10 Eastern Time. Okay. Are there any questions? Any questions? Okay. Hopefully there's no confusion. Hope that all makes sense. Okay. Again, if you're looking on the archive, Okay, it should be listed as Tuesday class still because it is Tuesday slots or my slot in terms of PLAR history and geography. Okay? So I want to point out one more thing before we call it a night. Yes, our trivia game show. Okay, I want to keep emphasizing this, keep reminding everyone to sign up and register. Again, here at WASA, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this academic year. Okay, lots of excitement, lots of neat, cool things that we'll be doing throughout the year. So during our min week, again, February 4th at 2 p.m. Central Time here in Silico, we'll be hosting our very first trivia game show. Trivia game show. So come out, please register. To register, send Candace an email. If you don't know her email, it's CGORETZKI. That is CGOZ. No, sorry, CGORETZKI at nnec.on.ca, or just send me an email and I'll forward it to Candace. Okay, but again, you must register in order to partake in our trivia game show. Okay, again, we'll be asking questions about WASA, what we do here at WASA, so you can start studying about what is WASA. We'll also asking tons of random questions, make it fun. You need internet access because we will be using the smartboard and the Bridget software to play. Okay, so lots of fun for our students and our DEC. Okay, again, this is happening on February 4th during our admin week. Okay, are there any questions before we call the night, class? Again, I want to thank everyone for participating. You have been great. Again, can't thank you more than enough. Again, I will be in my office till tomorrow morning until roughly around 11. As after I need to go to the airport and catch my flights. Okay. I'll be back Thursday afternoon. Okay. So again, I'm gone tomorrow. I'm going to Fort 7 to see some polar bears, do some whale watching, and more importantly, helping out at the Learning Center with anyone that needs help. Okay. So please come on out. And Andrea PLAR English is tomorrow. Okay. I think I said that about 100 times right today, but again, I don't want to confuse anyone. Okay. So again, if you have any questions, send me an email, give me a call, leave a message, and hopefully see everyone in Fort 7 if you're in Fort 7. If not, well, I'll be back here again on Thursday at our normal time slot. Okay. Thanks so much. Have a great night.